Well, good afternoon, everybody. And on behalf of LexisNexis South Africa, a very warm welcome to today's webinar. We've entitled it Building a Modern Law Practice Strategies for Success. My name is Jeremy Maggs. I'm your host today, and I'm hoping in the next hour or so we can explore effective strategies and practical tools for establishing and also growing a modern legal practice in today's very challenging, very difficult, but certainly dynamic environment. And I'm absolutely delighted to introduce two distinguished panelists with me today. The first is Zama Ngobo from WM Attorneys, who brings extensive expertise in the infrastructure and energy sectors, along with Palesa Maseko from PMA Incorporated, specializing in commercial litigation and entertainment law. So you might ask what our goal is today. Well, it's to provide young legal practitioners with what I hope is actionable advice in building a successful practice, but also acquiring and retaining clients and talent within the business itself, and also navigating the challenges of a rapidly evolving legal landscape. So just before we dive into the conversation, to both of you, Zama, Palesa, it's really good to see you, and I'm looking forward to a very interesting conversation. I keep a very close eye on the Q&A box during the session. I don't go to the chat box, but I do look at the Q&A box. If there are questions that you have to either of our two panel members, I will do my very best to act as a mediator and put as many of them to the panel members as possible, with the caveat, with the understanding that we don't always get to every single question, but you'll forgive me if we don't. So maybe, Zama, let me start with you then, and let me suggest that starting a law firm is a brave, it's a bold move. What inspired you to take this leap and establish your own practice? I'm sure there must have been many, many naysayers.
Yeah, no, definitely it was. It took a lot of courage, and I had done what we lawyers call the law firm tour. So I had been to two of the five law firms. I had been to an international law firm, and I'd been to a part of a startup. And I guess WMN Attorneys was my response to what I'd seen in the market and how I thought these environments could be improved specifically to cater for women. During my career, I had seen women that I look up to leaving the profession. And when I ask why, it seems like, they feel they have to make a choice between this career and starting a family. So I guess I wanted to create an environment where women don't have to leave, because I didn't want to leave, an environment that perhaps fosters collaboration over competition, because in an overly competitive environment, women will always come out short because we kind of have to take a step back sometimes. So yeah, I wanted to create a law firm for women that caters to our needs, where we can, continue to rise without the challenges that I saw in certain environments.
I'm sure some of the problem that you experienced and what gave you the motivation is something that is experienced in many, many sectors. So big ups to you for actually seeing the gap and doing something about it, which is critical. Hi, Palesa, and a warm welcome to you. What's your story?
Thank you, Jeremy. So I also did a law firm tour, and I'm inspired by many young lawyers who took the dive and started their own law firms. So I am what they call a specialist. I specialize in film, entertainment, and television law work. So while moving around different law firms, there was never a place where you could place me. So by that I mean law firms operate by departments. You're either a commercial litigator, or you're an employment lawyer, or etc., etc. And with my niche and the service offering that I offer, I assist clients in a specific industry, film, television, and entertainment, but I actually provide a wide range of services for those clients. So when I decided to start a law firm, I said I need a place where I'm able to package everything that I do as well as what my colleagues do, so that we have a specialized law firm that caters for specific needs, but we are not boxed into a specific area, because when clients come to you, they come to you with a full portfolio of assisting them with their legal services. I can't turn around and say, yes, I'll help you with your commercial litigation matter, but I can't assist you with your employment law matter. I'm a specialist and I understand the film and television industry. So I'm the person who they want to come to for that full bouquet of services to assist their businesses.
Having said that, and Zama, I'll throw the ball back to you. It's all very well to either see the gap or to, as Palesa said, acknowledge where her experience might best play. But the reality of starting any business is difficult. It's about finding the funding. It's about finding the right people. So in the early stages, Zama, how difficult was it? And how much more onerous is it within the legal fraternity, given that there are so many prescripts around it?
No, definitely was a scary prospect. And what gave me courage, Jeremy, was the fact that where I was before, I had already established my name in the sector that I service, as well as a client base. So it's all good and well to have a vision, but my clients were willing to basically put me in this vision that, and
Zama, I tell you what I'm going to do. We're having a little bit of difficulty in hearing you. So I think maybe the best thing for you to do is maybe just log off and rejoin us, if you wouldn't mind. But Palesa, I'm going to come back to you. Both the law firms are relatively new. So you've got to put food on the table. So how have you managed to build a robust client base in a relatively short space of time? How do you go about doing that? And then we'll get Zama back into the conversation in just a moment.
I would say that you actually don't build the clientele in a short space, Jeremy. So I can tell you now that the majority of my client base, the client base that started with the firm and the client base that continues to support the firm as return clients, or clients that go back from many years. So these are people that you start working with whilst at other law firms, and they establish a relationship with you and a trust relationship with you. I remember the first time that I moved, I had clients who panicked because you say, "Oh, I'm changing law firms for XYZ," because we have our own choices and etc. And clients panic to say, "Oh, are you leaving us? What's happening to our matters? Where are you going? Can we come to you?" So to start a law firm, I agree 100% with what Zama was saying. You have to have a client base that supports you, and you build on from there. It would be very difficult to start, in my opinion, without having a guarantee as to whether you're going to have work to do tomorrow, in the next 2 months, in the next 3 months. And from there, you have the confidence to then build a bigger client base, because you have a base to start off with. You can put food on the table, as you asked, but you go into the risk knowing that you've got some support. I've got a family and I'm a mother of two. So whatever decision I made, I had to make a responsible decision. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of financial discipline even before you start, because it's no ordinary business. We bill by the hour. So the saying in law firm is you eat what you kill. So if you've got nothing to kill, then there's nothing to eat.
I guess that's one way of putting it. Yes, I absolutely understand that. It's interesting about, critical that central to this entire mix, and Zama, I'm glad you're back with us, is making sure that you either are building a client base or you have clients with you. And I can understand the anxiety that clients feel. I mean, all very well if your hairdresser or your personal trainer is leaving to go somewhere else, but if your lawyer leaves, you could be in a huge amount of difficulty. So, Zama, from your perspective then, were there unexpected, or are there still unexpected challenges that you're facing when setting up and growing this firm? I'm sure there were, and how have you overcome them?
I would say in the beginning, we had support the work that people worked with before.
Oh, Zama, this just isn't working for us, man. I'm sorry. Again, the connectivity is not great. I'm going to I know what you need to say is critical, and we're hearing every third word or something. So perhaps let's just try one more time. Palesa, if you don't mind, if you and I can just continue the conversation, and maybe one of our team at Lexis, Zama, can just give you a couple of other pointers. I suspect it's a Wi-Fi issue, but let's keep thundering on. Palesa, I am going to come to you. So it's all very well then talking about client acquisition, which I understand is important, and bringing people across with you. But acquisition is one thing, but retention, Palesa, is also another thing. So are there specific strategies that you've implemented or continue to implement to make sure that your clients stay loyal to the firm?
Okay, so it starts off with delivering excellent work from the beginning. So the only way a client is going to trust you is if you execute the instruction well and they are happy with the work that you deliver. Going forward, it's now about, crafting legal advice, crafting work, crafting the legal protection that your client needs to be much better than what you started with. We draft an agreement for a client the first time, but as we go along, I'll make a perfect example with COVID-19. COVID-19 struck. I had many productions that were still shooting at the time, and they had to stop. And the first clause that all clients were looking for was force majeure. So I had a force majeure clause as a standard clause in all my agreements, but I now had to look at other factors. Does it cover pandemics? Does it cover epidemics? What happens now? Who pays who? Who's responsible? So you need to evolve your representation for clients with your clients' needs. And for me, I would say that's how you retain the clients. The clients establish trust in the work that you do, and the clients are also assured by the fact that they've got a lawyer who goes more than beyond what they're just delivering, but they have an interest in looking after clients' interests and their business. So for me, I would say that has been my retention strategy. I always say that for the film productions that I work on, I'm more than a lawyer. I am a business partner in some respect, because I don't just look at the legals that are presented to me. I look at the legals that the clients don't see. That's that's the business partnership that I offer when I'm assisting you as a client.
And Palesa, I'm so interested or so keen to ask you a question about film set gossip, but I'm not going to do that because it would be highly inappropriate. And also, you said that your success is predicated on building trust, and I certainly don't want you to. I certainly don't want you to break the trust. What I do want to ask you though is, did you feel, and particularly at the early stages, whether that it was a lot more difficult, given that it was you and you alone that was responsible for this, and you couldn't retreat into the belly of the corporate beast, so to speak? Zama, I'm coming to you in just a moment. Let's just wrap up this question. I'm glad you're back with us. Palesa, do you want to pick that up quickly?
Sure, that is an excellent question. I mean, it's to describe it, I felt like I was drowning, Jeremy. On the one end, you start your normal day like everyone else. You're an employee. You've got work to deliver, and then you don't have a break afterwards because there's still the business. The business needs to be run by someone. Decisions need to be made. Financials need to be looked at. Then there's your 2026 vision. So it was very, very difficult in the beginning because I had to adjust to not only being an employee, being a director, because I've been a director at other law firms and I've run a practice there. But now I also had to run a business full time. So it was very difficult, and I don't think anything really prepares you for being a professional and also running a business.
Mhm. Zam, I hope that the Wi-Fi has improved slightly. I'm getting a lot of notes from people saying that high winds and there are Wi-Fi issues around the country today. So we accept that, and let's just thunder on if we can. Maybe let me put this question to you. Success, I would imagine, in any space, Zama, but particularly in your firm, which is in a very competitive market, is there a specific strategy that you employed to make sure that you were different, that you were competitive, more competitive, and that you were able to stand out from those that you were in competition with?
No, absolutely, Jeremy. Is the sound better?
It is 100% better. Don't know what you did, but it worked.
Lovely. So I was quite aware of the fact that, as a Black woman in this male-dominated construction mining industry, it is a disadvantage. And how you overcome that is by being very, very good at your craft. So what I did was firstly position my firm in a way that was different. We came with a story. We are specialists, we are female, and this is what we bring to the table. And how we continue with that story is just instilling a culture of excellence within the firm, encouraging my people to go out into the market, make themselves known, speak at industry events, publish articles, keep abreast of the law, speak at webinars, position yourself as an industry specialist very early in your career. And then later on, the work will come to you.
When you talk about instilling and inculcating a culture of excellence within a law firm, how do you do that?
As I say, just wanting a hunger for knowledge, Jeremy, just wanting to always know where the law is currently and keeping abreast. So LexisNexis is very good with webinars. And I've got someone in my team as well as myself just dedicated to finding webinars that are relevant to our areas of practice that we can, just use. It's a free way to keep abreast of legal developments. Also publishing articles in reputable publications. It gets your name out there, but also gives you an opportunity to research something new. And speaking at industry events, you're already on stage positioned as an expert. So, you better say the right thing and the market will recognize you as an expert. So it's just being hungry for it.
And Zama, like so many other industries, as a female, I'm assuming, and I speak with some degree of expertise here, given that I have two adult working female daughters who experience exactly what I'm about to ask you, is that often they are having to work twice as hard to get ahead simply because of their gender. Have you found that you've had to do that as well? I'm sure that's the case. So what's the secret there? What have you, first of all, what can you tell our audience today, and what can I take back and tell my daughters?
No, absolutely, it happens. We all have examples of how you make a point in a meeting, nobody hears you, then the gentleman next to you makes the same point and they are praised as excellent. That's just a small example. And I think what's gotten me through, Jeremy, is to stop taking it personally. Early in my career, I used to take things very personally, and it used to just feel so offensive to me. But with maturity, I've realized that that's just how it is. People, need a little bit more of growing up to do, and maybe more knowledge in order to change. And I just want to be part of the catalyst for change. So I had to change my mindset.
All right, Palesa, I'm going to turn again. I'm going to try and keep a balance in this conversation between the three of us talking and also our participants today. I'm glad to see that we're closing in on about 200 people. So that's a very good audience, and it's a very important topic, and it's critical that people learn from this. So this is from an anonymous attendee saying, Palesa, in the industry, are there clauses that have proven to be trade barriers for the clients? And are big companies in the industry willing to negotiate with actors, and to what extent? So a couple of other questions about where to enroll for courses to learn about niche entertainment law. And we can talk a little bit about social media influencers, which is a very interesting topic in its own. But just in terms of clauses that have proven to be trade barriers for their clients, let me try and translate that if I can, is that are there sort of preclusionary aspects within your profession that Palesa make things a little bit more difficult, and that you've got to navigate your way more carefully around it, given that I think entertainment law is often open to a lot of interpretation?
Okay. I would say, in my experience, the clauses that, somewhat give us people in the industry challenges is clauses relating to the territories and rights of film productions. That can be a make or break. So by that I mean, I decide to produce a film, and then to produce a film, I source the I need to source the capital from different funders or investors. Certain investors will want in return rights to your film for 20 years, for instance, or 10 years. So as a producer who's been very excited about this idea that you have, you get the shock that in return for the funding that you require, you need to give away the rights to your film for for the film to be distributed or aired or broadcasted in certain territories to investors who have the money to give this film life. So there are certain aspects where there's no wiggle room around it. It's standard in the industry to say certain streamers or certain broadcasters require certain rights. But there are other ways where you can also negotiate holding certain intellectual property in your films. But it's just a matter of educating yourself, getting legal representation before you sign anything, and also getting the right knowledge regarding what you are signing away and what certain clauses mean.
Let's, on a completely different note, give us a sense of your work ethic. And Zama, I'm going to put the same question to you. How many days or how many hours a day do you work, and do you work at weekends?
Me first or Zama first?
Let's go to you, Palesa. You've got the screen. Yeah.
So I start my day at between 3:30 and 4 a.m. And the reason why I do that is because there's certain work that I need to do uninterrupted. And then I also assist clients who are abroad. For instance, if I'm assisting a client who's in Canada at the moment, we are 6 hours ahead. So my day generally will start at 3:30, knowing that the work will be in someone's inbox at 9:30, and first thing tomorrow morning they look at it. And then you try to like work and give yourself a break, and then your work day starts at 8 o'clock. And depending on whether you're having a good or a bad day, it can be a 8 to 8, or it can be a 8 to 5. I work on Saturdays. I try to not work on Sundays because Sunday is a family day. But it all depends. It all depends on the pressure. I don't have a 9 to 5. I don't have a 9 to 6. Um, but but you can be on holiday and it's month end. What is the day today? The 26th. So in addition to your normal work, you now have to check everyone's time is captured, and finalize invoices, make sure that there are no mistakes, send them back to your secretary. They come back, you approve them, etc., etc. So I would say running a business for me, it's a 6 days a week job, and it's not a 9 to 5. I've had days where I've had an urgent application and I survived on 4 hours of sleep per day, with the hopes that when it's over, I'll get a full day off. So it's very difficult to say what hours I work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm normally impressed with I was looking for some kudos the other day when I said, well, I'm behind my desk at 6:30 in the morning, but that you're halfway through your day at that point, Palesa. So very impressed. Zama, what about you? I see a smile playing on your face there. This is not
No, a
a
lot of what
competition, ladies. This is not a competition, by the way.
No, a lot of what Vanessa has said resonates with me. I think no 2 days are really the same with me anymore. I think in the first maybe 2 years, I was at my desk the whole time. And as I started marketing the firm and growing the firm, at some point I'm at my desk drafting for hours on end. Then I have to travel. And then there's the international clients that Vanessa mentioned. And then there's the speaking at events, there's the attending events. Then I'm sitting in a makeup chair next. So no 2 days are really the same. So I've had to be very intentional about taking breaks wherever I can, to be able to just to take a break. If I'm not busy, give myself a break.
I think that is good advice. We're here to talk legal matters and not work-life balance, but the work-life balance is absolutely critical. Palesa, let's get back to some operational matters if we can. One of you alluded a little earlier to the importance of getting out there and being seen and speaking at seminars, and that's all part of marketing within the confines of the legal profession. I'm interested to know what role networking has played in growing your client base, establishing your firm's reputation, and how you go about doing that, if you have any advice for our audience in that respect.
I would say that I take every event seriously, Jeremy. So, I mean, not just speaking on the film and entertainment work. I also have clients who I assist with general commercial litigation matters. So I take every event seriously. If you are celebrating a 10-year anniversary at your company, I will attend. If you are having a roundtable discussion with lawyers, I'll also attend that too. With regards to my specific industry, every film that I work on, I try to go to your premieres. I try to stay involved. I try to celebrate the moments that are important to my clients, as well as honor invitations for events where I am invited and requested to speak on specific issues. As a legal practitioner, I think we mustn't get over consumed with just the billable work and, you know, appearing for that which pays only. I am very happy to do educational attendances where I sit in a room and I speak on certain legal matters that matter to my clients or matter to like a specific group of people, because I'm passionate about the law. It's not all just about the money. And I would say that being out there is trying to just get out as much as you can, trying to be diverse about it, trying to also not be fussy of I only attend large scale events, but I don't attend small events. My firm is new. I started in February last year, and for I was never a person that was into awards. I'd always get nominated by a law firm or nominated by my peers. But when I started my own law firm, now I said, let me put in a submission for the law firm, because no one is going to do it. No one is going to do it for the law firm. I have to do it for the law firm because people know me as an individual. They may nominate me, but they don't nominate the law firm.
Zama, I'd like you to address the networking question very briefly, and then to both of you, I want to put an important question to you from Precious Mudao, who says, "Hi, ladies. What resources are a must when starting a law firm? In other words, accounting, legal resources, training employees, that kind of thing." So let's talk a little bit about sort of the build up as far as the firm is concerned. But Zama, do you have anything to add to the importance of networking and what your specific approach is? How on the front foot can you be?
I think visibility is definitely very important, Jeremy. The first year and a half I spent keeping my existing clients happy. And then once I became more visible, I saw what it did for the business. And so a tip I can give to people is using social media. It's a free tool that you can use to share with people what you're doing, what you're up to. And as Palesa said, when you put yourself forward for awards, those kinds of things matter. They'll go through your social media page and kind of see what you're up to. So display your expertise and what you're doing on social media. It's free.
Do you network with other small law firms? Zama and Palesa, do you network with each other?
We have not had an opportunity to yet, but we have spoken, and I definitely, as now, I'm less at my desk and getting out there more. I'm definitely making room for that.
Yeah. Well, Zama, next time Palesa is at a movie premiere, I insist that she takes you with you.
I insist too.
It's not working, Jeremy.
You can take me as well, Palesa. Let's get to Precious's question. It's an important one. It's all very well to start the law firm and you've got your own skill. You might have people with you, but in building a company, which is what you're doing, it's all those other little things like legal resources within the company, human resources, accounting. Palesa, how did you go about that?
The first contract that I signed for my business, Jeremy, was a contract with my accountants. That is very important because you can't. I'm an attorney. I'm not an accountant. And then the second most important was my legal secretary, because I have to focus on the work that I'm required to focus on, and you need someone by your side to assist with your admin. If you don't have someone assisting you with your admin, you'll be consumed with admin the whole day. And then the third, in no order of importance, is some sort of billing system. If you are selling time, you need to be able to account for it. Otherwise, you're going to be working and working and working. And come the end of the month, you unable to recoup all the work that you've put into the work that you've provided to clients. So for me, those were the three important tools that I needed. Your staff, definitely. When I started my law firm, we started as 3 staff members. So I've never not had, my team. And it helps a lot because you are able to start a law firm, but have enough hands to help your clients, so your clients don't feel like it's a startup. There's enough resources to tackle on the work, in whatever volumes that it comes through. So I would say those are the 4 tools that are important for when starting a law firm. The staff element, though, it depends on your capacity and your business needs. You will hire the amount of staff that you need for the work that you have.
Zama and Mobo, I'm going to ask you to answer that same question, but before you get there, I also think this is a very good point. And Ashleka Ramdas from LexisNexis, I'm going to ask you just to be on standby, because as we've heard from both Palesa and Zama, starting a legal practice is difficult. It can be overwhelming at some point. And I would imagine that any kind of resource that can help you is going to be important. And I wanted you to talk specifically about Lexis Plus's SA's practice management system. We can get to that in just a moment. But before we do that, Zama, just in terms of getting the nitty-gritty under control within your firm, how did you do that? And what were some of the difficulties that you experienced?
For me, I think the first step was having a better understanding, a full understanding of the administrative and legal landscape in my obligations. I'm sure Palesa will agree, being a director at a law firm is different from being the managing director now. So just getting a proper full understanding of what my responsibilities are from a compliance perspective, from an accounting perspective, and employment and everything, and then outsourcing those functions. Because as Palesa had said, the aim is to focus on being a lawyer and the services. And so we were also very busy. So outsourcing those functions was very important.
And to that end, and Ashleka, I'm going to bring you into the conversation now. Technology can make your life easier, particularly for a small startup law firm. So in what respect then can LexisNexis South Africa help?
Thanks, Jeremy. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you see my screen, Jeremy?
Absolutely perfectly. You go ahead.
Okay, great. Okay, so yes, I'm Ashleka and from LexisNexis, and I will show you how to use our latest AI-infused platform called Lexis Plus South Africa, and tying in with the discussion this afternoon from our esteemed panelists, and how to bring that to your fingertips practically and bringing those tools to light. And it's interesting, on our platform, we have a legal research solution as well as a practical guidance. So listening to the conversation this afternoon, we see that we are more interested in what do I need to get my business up and running or my practice up and running. And for all of us out there, it would be more of a practical sense. So we have practical guidance on Lexis Plus South Africa. And in here, on my screen, you can see that I've got a whole set of practice areas. And practical guidance in its essence is exactly what I need to get through in terms of a practice area, but focusing specifically on legal practice management, which is a practice area housed in PG. I will click on the practice area, and you can see most of the topics that we discussed this afternoon has been covered by our legal practice management. In tying the technology with the information here, which is written by our expert authors, gives one all the information that they possibly need. One of the interesting things that we heard this afternoon is that I need to understand what I need to set up a practice. And you can see already in some of the topics that are being displayed here, we've got those specific aspects for legal practice management. So on Lexis Plus, with the ease of technology, now I want to get into the view of what I might need, but I don't want to click through everything. So I just want to expand all, and at a very quick view, I can see what I have in terms of whether it's setting up a practice, my legal compliance requirements, practice administration, what do I need in all these various aspects. And with Lexis Plus, it also allows us to go a step further. So I'm going to just demo, I want to understand what do I need for setting up my practice. At a very high level, already when I click through, I can see an overview, an understanding of a checklist and flow list, what I might need, as well as guidance notes and forms of precedence that will be applicable to me. While I do know this at hand, and I want to get more guidance in terms of an administration process, I can click into a guidance note, and that's going to take me step by step in what I need to understand for this administration processes for a legal practice. And this is giving me a good understanding that I need to be an admitted attorney in terms of the required legislation out there. You can see inside our documents as well, we've got linking to the legislation itself, that's the Legal Practice Act, as well as other reference sources. And what's interesting with Lexis Plus, the PG solution, it also gives us a different way of linking within documentation, also allowing me to go a bit step further. So I want to understand what is this formation of different forms of business. And we heard this afternoon from our panelists, they talked about how they've come across and how they put up their practices in their respective fields. So there's a lot of reading material that allows me to go through in terms of how I might want to set up this different forms of business in terms of the practice that I want to set up for myself. I can easily navigate through documents and be able to get into important websites as well. So this allows me, while I'm still in my document, this will, for example, legal practitioners fidelity fund is something that we would need to know as new practitioners in the field. I can click on and easily get into the website that's going to pop up on my screen, and you're going to see I can get access to the Fidelity Fund certificate applications, understanding those requirements as a legal practitioner. While Lexis Plus Practical Guidance Solution houses a lot of information around legal practice management, I can also not only navigate in terms of what I'm looking for, but the power of search as well on the platform allows me to look for a certain aspect. So I'm very interested in looking for administrative measures, for example. What do I need to pay attention to when it comes to any administrative measures? Okay, that example. Let me go back. I just want to get to the right word. Administrative. Type that one more time. Administrative requirements, not measures. And that should also give me a direct hit in terms of what I'm looking for. So you can see on my screen, because I've typed in administrative requirements, it's already directing me to a specific field. And in this specific instance, it's around legal practice management. So if I click on my left-hand side, you can see my search has already refined me, guiding me to what are the certain aspects that I need to pay attention to in legal practice management. And because it's administrative requirements, I can see that it's also telling me I can move down into setting up practice and click on. Again, this view graphically gives me the attention of what I'm looking for in terms of administrative requirements. So with Lexis Plus, besides having the tools in terms of practically to set up your practice, you also have the ability to do the extensive research in that particular area. So if I set up a legal practice and I'm a very I want to follow in the field of labor law, I can definitely be able to search across the different content that is housed in legal research and tie that up into my practical engagement in terms of what I want to do with my clientele. So this also gives you a good, vast information across your cases, legislation, analytical materials. And again, from the legal research platform, you can tie that back into going into the certain aspects of practical guidance. Whether you are specializing in labor law or family law, you are able to navigate and find the respective pieces of information you're looking for. And again, with the advanced technology, you can see a refined, cleaner platform giving you the different abilities visually to see what I'm looking for in terms of the research that I'm doing and tying it up practically to what I need to bring through in terms of the client that I have in front of me or the case that I need to take to court with all the information at my fingertips. So Lexis Plus South Africa houses both these solutions and available to do your research. Thanks, Jeremy. Back to you.
Ashleka, thank you very much indeed. So a wealth of information there, and critical, I would imagine, for any smaller law firm. And just before I continue with the conversation, as we get into the last 15 minutes or so, building a modern law practice, here's our poll question. Would you like to receive a call from LexisNexis to find out more about Lexis Plus and also about Lexis's practical guidance? If you'd like us to give you a call in that respect, please indicate either with a yes or no, and one of the Lexis team will follow up very rapidly as far as that's concerned. Palesa Maseko, maybe this gives us a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the role of technology, how you're using it within your practice, and maybe even just give us a thought or two on tech and the future of legal practice, particularly when it comes to small firms, something which is increasingly valuable and increasingly important, obviously with the ethical caveats of things like artificial intelligence, which we don't need to get into. But technology is becoming more and more critical, is it not?
Very much so, Jeremy. I mean, for us, I would say we have used technology to be more efficient. We don't have a I'm stuck in traffic problem, etc., etc. If you are going to be running late, then you are not working at the office. You're going to start working from home, and you're going to join into your meeting virtually. So we try to create we try to create systems that are time saving for everyone. If a meeting can be virtual, then it will be virtual. If a meeting has to be physical, like an arbitration and etc., then we have to do it physically. With us also helping and servicing international clients, I would say technology has helped me a lot in that respect. I'm able to appear in an arbitration that is presiding before an arbitrator in America, for instance. And I don't need to fly all the way there. It would cost client an arm and a leg, and it would also be time consuming. I don't know who would pay for the travel time for me to travel from the States to America. And with regards to other technology, I think
Unless you work in entertainment law, George Clooney's going to pay for you, man.
I have to keep him as a 10-year client and not as a 1-year client, Jeremy. So I can't finish all the money in 1 year. So I think it's that so as a small law firm, we also, when you are hunting around for an office, for instance, you are looking for a building that has, the appropriate boardroom facilities, cameras, software for you to be able to have an arbitration as well as have breakaway rooms, even though it's virtual, because we're going to be sitting in the main hearing room, but I'm going to need to break away and consult with my clients, and the other side is going to need to break away with their clients. So it has helped us evolve a lot and made life more efficient, because before a hearing would be very difficult when parties are joining from Johannesburg, KwaZulu-Natal, and America. Now it's so easy to schedule a hearing because we can do it virtually.
Zama Ngobo, back to you. In what way have you incorporated technology into your firm or into your practice?
I quite agree with Palesa. It's created a lot of efficiency, and tools like Teams, for example, and Zoom, it allows us to have global impact as a medium-sized firm based in South Africa. So it's allowed us to expand our reach a lot further. And
have you spent a lot of money on tech, Zama?
I wouldn't say that I have at this point, but I'm always researching. And if an investment had to be made and it made sense, I would, because I do believe in the efficiency that it creates.
There is an important question here, and I think I want to circle back to it because we did start talking about this at the beginning of our conversation. But Leonor Swart, I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to get to this question because it's important. She is 38 years old. She's a mother of 4. Good luck to you. And she wants to open her own law firm next year. And she's talking about the conundrum that you both alluded to at the beginning of this conversation about finding the balance. Palesa Maseko, how do you continue to find that balance?
Sure. The timing of this question is such a coincidence. So I've got a baby who's 10 weeks old. She was
Congratulations.
born. Thank you. And on the day that she was born, I was in a meeting until an hour before I had to leave for hospital.
I don't even know why I'm laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing.
So, and then she was born on a Thursday, and then on the Sunday I had a crisis for a client, and I had to plug in from the hospital and work while my gynae was checking up on me. So, you know what? I think it's embracing what you are. I think for me, that is what has given me balance. To say I am an attorney, I am a business owner. And these are the sacrifices that you're going to need to make to start off a business. Would I put it off for another year, 2 years, 3 years? No, because there'll never be the perfect time. But all that has given me hope about starting a business and balance is that when the business is bigger, there will be such a thing as a maternity leave benefit for me. It's all good and well to have it for your staff. Your staff can take it because you'll have systems in place where you'll pull on the weight for your staff. But as the business owner, I just said the joy that comes from it is building a business. Will a deal wait for you to disappear and go be a mother? No, it won't. By the time you come back, another lawyer will have assisted with it and it's gone. Your client relationships also can't wait if your law firm is new and it's not big enough to take on your load. So it's also just having a good support system, having family, friends, colleagues, and everyone around you who understand where they need to help out. And everyone around you just understanding that you're also human. So clients will know that when you are not well or when a child is not well, you're unavailable, but you're available 6 days a week, 20 hours in a day. So when you're not available for that one day, it doesn't really matter. It's just all about
I would be failing in my duty as the interviewer if I didn't ask you the critical question. What did your gynae say?
He said you did this the last time for the first daughter. And you still haven't changed. And that's why I went back to him. Because he's a doctor.
Zama, just addressing Leonor Swart's question about finding the balance. I think Palesa tries very hard. I'm not sure she's got it. What about you?
Well, firstly, I want to say that Palesa is now my hero.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I had to be very intentional. I think the first year and a half, almost burning out, I had to be very intentional about taking breaks. I think Palesa mentioned how Sunday is family day. So just having those strict little rules for yourself. Of course, every now and again, an urgent might come in on a Sunday. It happens. But just being intentional about rest and about family time and about the things that are important to you outside of work.
Palesa, I want to pivot, if I can, to something else, and that's the importance of mentorship and guidance from other legal professionals. Critical, not just in the law, not just in the legal profession, but in all professions. But how have you gone about doing this, particularly in terms of your personal development?
Sure. I would say, Jeremy, I wouldn't be the attorney that I am today if it wasn't for mentorship and guidance along the way. So I strive to maintain relationships. Whether you are an advocate assisting me on my matter, whether you are, I'm still very good friends with my first boss. And if I ever experience a challenge, I'm never shy to pick up the phone and call and ask for guidance or clarity on a specific legal issue. And I think the most important part is knowing when you need help. As business owners, whatever you put in, you get out, but you can't take on too much. So if I do deal with a matter, pure litigation matter, contractual dispute and etc., and I see that this matter is too big for my team and I will happily rope in another lawyer, either as a consultant or an advocate, because that mentorship and that help is very important when you know that you need it.
Salma, what about you in mentorship?
Mentorship is very important to me. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us about it.
Yeah, mentorship is very important, Jeremy. And for me, it was about intentionally being part of those communities. So being part of communities of small law firm owners, being part of communities of female business owners, being a part of community of construction lawyers. So maintaining those relationships and being able to pick up the phone and ask for guidance.
All right. Friends, I've got two more questions before we come to the end of this this session today. Palesa, let me come back to you. Is there any specific advice that you would give to a young lawyer, maybe someone like Leonor Swart, who are considering starting their own practice but are unsure of where to begin? So let's park the work-life balance stuff, but practical tips, both within the legal confines themselves, but also in terms of starting a business. What's the best advice you could give, Palesa?
I would say, firstly, knowing what you are good at. There's you'll go very far if you craft your skills, work hard, such that you are known and seen as an excellent attorney. So you need to know what you are good at first, because that's the service offering that you need to be focusing on. And then secondly, I would say build bit by bit. It's very tough to start a business. You want to take on everything. But at the same time, if you take on too much, then you'll either not do the work well or you won't be able to do some of the work at all. So build bit by bit, grow organically, and also have a vision. It's all good and well to start a business, but a business needs a plan, a goal, and a vision. You need to know, am I planning on staying as a small law firm, or would I like to be a medium-sized law firm? If so, am I going to delegate, etc., etc.? So I'd say have a vision board, have a plan about your specialist areas, what you want to be known for, the type of lawyers that you want to be, and the type of lawyers you want to bring into your law firm, and you'll go a long way.
What's your vision, Palesa?
My vision is to create the best law firm in South Africa that is known for having specialist attorneys who have changed the film, television, and entertainment law industry around, which was previously not regulated. Previously, a lot of producers were not protected. People signed away rights and intellectual property in excellent productions. And they are now waking up now when the world is at a place where people have access to legal education and they want those rights back and they are gone. And I want to be that lawyer or that law firm that people can run to protect something small that may land up as something very, very big, or something small that means the world to them in the film and entertainment law industry.
All right, Palesa, thank you very much indeed. Zama, the question was looking at advice to a young person who's going to consider starting their own practice. But if you have as clear a vision as Palesa has got, please share that with us as well.
Yeah, I think in addition to having a plan, like Palesa said, it's important to have at least one client so that you have work coming in and that you may focus on this vision that you want to implement. And, you know, my vision was to basically change the narrative about women in Africa, really, in male-dominated industries. And the more the firm grows, the more I will implement this vision that I have. So the aim is to ultimately be this impactful, globally impactful law firm of female lawyers, specialists, just known for being good at what they do and changing the narratives in these industries.
Let me just say on behalf of the well over 100 people that have been watching us this afternoon and LexisNexis South Africa, thank you so much for your inspiring stories, and we all wish you the very best in your career. And to Leonor Swart, when you start your law firm, let us know, and we'll have you on a panel at some point as well. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to both of you. Zama Noble from WMN Attorneys. She brings expertise in the infrastructure and energy sectors, along with Palesa Maseko from PMA Incorporated, and as she said, specializing in commercial litigation and entertainment law. To both of you, thank you so much indeed. To our audience this afternoon, I hope you got as much out of it as I did. Nothing nicer. We love an inspiring story, and we got two this afternoon. So it's been an absolute pleasure. I look forward to seeing you again on another webinar on behalf of LexisNexis South Africa. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.